Japan was probably one of the most beautiful trips we've ever had. Kyoto especially felt unreal at night. Quiet streets. Old houses. Almost no people outside. So, when we found a cheap traditional ryokan online, it honestly felt like the perfect experience. But a few minutes after entering that place, both of us already wanted to leave. Asterisk, we booked a traditional ryokan in Kyoto during our Japan trip, and ended up leaving only a few hours later because neither of us could handle the feeling inside. This happened around 3 years ago when we were traveling through Japan. We were staying in Osaka and originally only planned a day trip to Kyoto, but we loved the city so much that we decided to stay overnight instead of taking the train back. We wanted the full traditional experience. So, we found a cheap ryokan on Agoda called Haruya Yumikoji. It was self-check-in only. No staff, no reception, just instructions explaining how to get the key from a lockbox outside. From the outside, the place looked beautiful. Quiet street, old wooden exterior, very traditional Japanese house vibes. But the moment I stepped inside, something immediately felt wrong. It's hard to explain properly. It didn't feel haunted or dramatic like in movies. It was more like this heavy pressure in the atmosphere, like you were constantly being watched from somewhere behind you. The hallways were completely silent. Not normal quiet either, the kind of silence where every tiny sound suddenly feels loud. The lighting was dim. Our phones barely had signal inside. And even though the building seemed empty, it somehow felt like we weren't alone there. The weirdest part was neither of us mentioned it at first. We just walked around pretending everything felt normal. Our room had tatami floors with futons stored inside this old wooden cabinet. I still remember staring at the cabinet for a few seconds because I genuinely did not want to open it. I know that sounds ridiculous, but the feeling in that place was honestly that bad. The shared bathroom was probably the worst part for me. To get there, you had to walk down this long narrow hallway with almost no sound at all. And for some reason, the bathroom itself was freezing cold compared to the rest of the building. The second I stepped inside, I got chills immediately. At one point I remember just standing there listening to absolutely nothing, but somehow feeling like somebody else was nearby. A couple hours later, my partner finally looked at me and said, "I really don't want to stay here." The crazy thing was I felt exactly the same way the entire time. We ended up booking another hotel that same night and left even though we already paid for the room. Neither of us could relax there long enough to sleep. Maybe we were just exhausted from traveling. Maybe old traditional houses naturally feel unsettling when you're not used to them. But even now, years later, I still remember the exact feeling I had the moment we stepped inside that ryokan. It's still one of the few places I've ever been where the atmosphere alone made me want to leave. Anyone else ever stayed somewhere that gave you instant bad vibes the second you walked in?